Kinnock.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Speaker. As the Honourable Member for Belfast East has so eloquently explained, the issue at the heart of this debate is a fairly simple one. That, notwithstanding commitments made by the UK and Irish governments in the Good Friday Agreement more than 25 years ago, questions about eligibility and access to citizenship rights for many people in Northern Ireland remain unresolved. The Honourable Member argues with conviction that the differential treatment of people, depending on whether they were born in Northern Ireland or the Republic, under British nationality law, is unfair and should be addressed. Along with his colleagues, he has argued for long-standing residents of Northern Ireland who were born in the Republic after the 31st of December 1948 to be recognised as citizens of the UK if they consider themselves to be such, without the need to undertake a lengthy and costly process of applying to the Home Office for naturalisation. These arguments have been heard in this House many times before. Indeed, I believe the Honourable Member for East Londonderry introduced a private member's bill along similar lines to this one as long ago as 2005. Nor have members of his party been the only ones to have recognised the strength of feeling among many in Northern Ireland on this issue. In 2021, the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee published a short report which concluded that the government should abolish the naturalisation fee charged to Irish applicants who wish to naturalise as British citizens. The fees for registration or naturalisation, it should be pointed out, are currently in the region of £1,500 per person, which is not by any means an insignificant sum. In its response to the committee's report, the government announced that it would not be fair to set such fees at different levels depending on nationality, ignoring the fact that there is already special recognition of the status of Irish nationals across the UK's immigration system. The government also argued that naturalisation and citizenship fees are an important means by which the Home Office seeks to maintain the financial sustainability of the immigration system. That may not in itself be an unreasonable position, but I do wonder whether the amounts of revenue involved are really all that significant to the Home Office in the context of an annual budget which is in excess of £20 billion. As has been explained, this bill establishes a separate, standalone route to British citizenship for Irish nationals born after 1948 who have been resident in Northern Ireland and hence in the UK for significant periods of time. The explanatory notes state that application fees for the proposed new route would need to be agreed and set in secondary fees legislation, taking into account financial implications. So there appears to be no expectation of a blanket fee exemption for applicants under the new rules. On that basis, it might be helpful for the House if the Minister could perhaps confirm, assuming that the government does support the bill, what criteria will be used in setting the level of application fees under the new system. Will the goals remain the same as those previously set out by the government, which I've already quoted, with respect to maintaining parity between citizenship and naturalisation applications across all nationalities? And what provisions, if any, does the government intend to make for individual exemptions to the usual fees under the new system, assuming that is introduced? In the same report that I cited earlier, the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee also concluded that, in addition to the fees, the mandatory Life in the UK test and requirement to attend a citizenship ceremony should also be waived for Irish citizens seeking naturalisation in the UK. In its response to the committee, the government insisted that it was right to maintain these requirements for all applications and to limit the scope for exemptions to the special circumstances of a particular case, for example, those who have long-term health reasons which would preclude their attendance. This response, which was published in January 2022, added that, and I quote, "In order to continue with ceremonies during the pandemic, we worked with local authorities to develop and deliver virtual ceremonies, and we will assess their ongoing use as this immediate need reduces. They may be retained to allow a more inclusive approach for those who, due to long-term issues, might otherwise be excluded." If, as I understand, the government does not plan to oppose this bill, It would be helpful in light of these long-standing concerns which have been raised over the years with respect to the life in the UK testing and ceremony requirements, if the Minister could please confirm whether he envisages making specific provision to address these issues within the proposed new route to citizenship which the bill envisages. Madam Deputy Speaker, on behalf of His Majesty's Opposition, I would just say in closing that the Honourable Member has put forward strong and persuasive arguments in support of his bill. The Government's support will, I hope, be welcomed by members who represent Northern Ireland's communities in this House, and on behalf of His Majesty's Opposition, I am happy to add my party's support to this bill as well. Thank you.
Minister Tom Purse.